On this edition of Good Day DePaul, Designing DePaul, President Robert Manuel talks about the university's plans for the future.
The repression of women, it continues in Afghanistan.
And Dibs, a DePaul institution. I'm Lily Lowndes.
And I'm Tavi Papazian, and this is Good Day DePaul.
It's called Designing DePaul, how the university moves forward in the future. President Robert Manuel recently provided an update on these plans. Good Day DePaul's Ariana Allen was there.
DePaul President Robert Manuel addressed the university community about DePaul's past, present, and future. Manuel started his speech to a full Holt Schneider Performance Center with a bit of humor.
You will pay attention.
Manuel said his administration will be one that takes action.
Everything I talk about today comes from a knowledge that there are many more items that need to be fixed, not addressed, fixed. I have a bias to this action, and I want to make sure that we don't perpetuate the conversation about the problem, but rather address their solutions.
A big part of his speech centered on diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts, and he mentioned how the university has not always done well in upholding these values.
We're also going to accept and implement many of the recommendations delivered by the Black Equity Initiative and the task force studying the relationship of the Vincentians to enslaved individuals. This work is simply remarkable and showcases times in our history when we veered away from our mission.
Manuel also addressed DePaul's identity as a Catholic university and how this label shouldn't be restrictive.
We will address religious intolerance. I've asked Liz Ortiz, Jean, Memo, to begin the conversations with our community about the religious intolerance that exists on our campus, the goals that we have to engage that, and a path forward to ensure that nobody feels marginalized because of their religious background on campus.
Manuel also addressed gaps in achievement based on race and mentioned how freshman retention and graduation rates are the highest among white identifying students. Manuel said the university needs to do better with students of color.
And we need to solve for this, not just understand and engage.
In 2021, DePaul brought in its largest freshman class to date, but was also down in revenue compared to recent years. Manuel said that in order to be successful, the university must find a way to get through these times without getting rid of valuable assets.
So you know that we've been talking about budget deficits. I call it the cow. If you were at the inauguration, you remember that the cow kind of runs away from the storm. This is the cow approach. Wait to see what we get. If we have enough, terrific. If we don't, we cut ourselves. We can't continue to do that year after year because the gap will continue to grow. And the gap will become too big to have these incremental cuts help us get to stability.
Manuel said one way the university can grow is by improving its interdisciplinary studies program and the work it does to impact the world outside of DePaul. He said this will bring resources to the university.
Donors that have no interest in DePaul at the moment, but have great interest in the problems we're trying to engage, will increase our opportunity to bring in revenue to help support these programs.
At a press conference after the event, Manuel addressed student concerns relating to safety on campus.
I will say that the design of safety and security, first and foremost in the work that we do, and in the cabinet's conversations is always there. How do we make sure that that is occurring? And I think that's also part of the design we need to be intentional about. Urban campus, urban issues, Chicago and DePaul go hand in hand in that. We need to figure out how to be a partner to them as they craft their path forward as well.
Manuel said he wants to be a president who solves issues and wants students to share their concerns with him.
And I make sure that I'm meeting with the groups that have organized kind of attachments to the university. I also have a series of interesting conversations just because I'm walking through campus and talking to folks. But the idea that there's an open door for students is real. And so this is the moment when the voice matters because it will inform the work that we do in the design of the university.
Manuel said he hopes his speech leads the DePaul community to feel positively about the current direction of the university. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Ariana Allen.
Last August, the United States withdrew all military forces from Afghanistan. It was a hasty and chaotic pullout with many Afghans hoping to leave, but unable to get out. One of the big questions then was, what would happen to the women of Afghanistan? Now we are getting some answers, and they are not very good. Good Day DePaul's Alyssa Gomez has our report.
Here at DePaul University, women of all races, religions, and sexual orientations are invited to pursue a quality college education. But elsewhere in the world, specifically in Afghanistan, women are getting the right to their university education taken away. On December 20th, the Taliban announced that women in Afghanistan would no longer be allowed to attend universities or pursue higher education. This decision sparked an uproar in Afghanistan, with both men and women protesting the order. Demonstrations were quickly shut down by the Taliban. Layla Farah, Associate Professor of Women's and Gender Studies at DePaul, says this decision does not come as a surprise.
Am I shocked? No. No, I am not shocked in the least. I've been expecting a lot more gender-based restrictions for some time now, the minute the Taliban took back over.
Professor Farah says it's all about control.
It's about social control. I mean, it's always been about social control. So remember that fundamentalism literally means to live by the book, that you go by the fundamental principles of the holy book, whatever holy book that is, to you. And one of the problems with that is that you're left with those in power who are the ones interpreting what that means, right? So when you have fundamentalists who are the ones interpreting based on a book that is not violent, that is actually quite peaceful, meaning the Quran, then you've got trouble. And the first folks who are going to bite it, as usual, are women and children, and especially female children.
Since the return of the Taliban last year, the education of women and girls has been restricted in secondary schools and now universities. This new ruling is leading to worldwide condemnation. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken stated, quote, "The Taliban cannot expect to be a legitimate member of the international community until they respect the rights of all in Afghanistan." Here at DePaul, the university has students from all over the world, including some from Afghanistan. Associate Provost of Global Engagement, Gianmario Bassana, shared his thoughts on the Taliban's decision.
Just the thought of entire generation of women in Afghanistan will not have the opportunity to access higher education is just simply crushing. And that's particularly crushing for me personally after having established a personal relationship with the group of Afghan women that we are hosting at DePaul, seeing their passion, their resilience, their enthusiasm. It is truly, I keep saying crushing, but that's the right word.
On January 13th, 11 countries urged the Taliban to lift the restrictions and allow women to keep pursuing higher education, yet no changes have been made. For Good Day DePaul, Alyssa Gomez.
Diversity. It's a major goal of almost every college, including DePaul. Here again is Good Day DePaul's Ariana Allen with a look at DePaul's efforts in this area and what some African American students and faculty feel needs to be done.
DePaul University allows students to receive a college education while living in the third largest city in the U.S. But some say one thing it doesn't offer is enough diversity. DePaul is the nation's largest Catholic university, which makes it appealing to some students. In 2021, DePaul enrolled almost 3,000 freshmen, its largest freshman class in history. 7% were Black and 24% Hispanic. While these minority groups do have representation at the school, some students say DePaul could be doing more to recruit and retain students and faculty of color. DePaul Junior Savannah Barker feels that in order to retain more students of color, DePaul needs to provide a safe space for them on campus.
I think one of the things that can draw, at least for me as a Black student, one of the things that draws me to a school or an organization is the space that it holds for Black people and people of color. And I feel like DePaul could maybe invest more time and more money, or just in general more support into really establishing those spaces for Black people on campus.
Students like DePaul Junior Jennifer DeSille feel like they have to work harder than they should to find communities of color on campus.
I feel like in order to feel that sense of community, you really have to go out and search for it yourself. So what I've been doing is attending events by different Black organizations and having to put myself out there by attending meetings like BSU and DUABJ. But initially I didn't feel that there was a strong Black community here.
DePaul freshman Tori Seju Bugoji also feels there's a lack of diversity on campus.
In classes, which is, I guess, most important since it's a college, I'm usually the only person of color.
Students like these say that finding a strong sense of minority representation on campus is an issue, and they're not alone. Some faculty feel the same way. At DePaul, there are currently 860 full-time faculty members. 64 are Hispanic and 63 are Black. Professor Judith McCrae began teaching at DePaul in 2017 as an adjunct and became the Diversity Fellow in the Center for Communication and Engagement in the fall of 2021. She's been a full-time faculty member in the College of Communication since March of last year. She shared how diversity was not the main reason she was interested in teaching at DePaul, but it became something she noticed as soon as she stepped foot on campus.
I did have sticker shock when I came to DePaul for my interviews and saw how predominantly white the student body was, and then was stunned when I became an adjunct to realize that there were no African Americans in the journalism department. There's only one, in terms of full-time professors, one African American still only who's tenured and full-time in the PR and advertising college, PR and advertising department. And then, I guess I am the second only at this time African-American full-time professor in the College of Communications. So that was disturbing.
Behind DePaul, the largest Catholic schools in the nation are Georgetown University in Washington, D.C., St. John's University in New York, and Loyola University, Chicago. DePaul has about 14,000 undergrads, St. John's about 15,000, Loyola almost 12,000, and Georgetown nearly 8,000. At DePaul, 8% of undergraduate students are Black and 21% are Hispanic. St. John's, 14% of undergrads are Black and 17% are Hispanic. At Georgetown, 7% are Black and 10% are Hispanic. And at Loyola, 5% are Black and 18% are Hispanic, according to the Department of Education. Since coming to DePaul, McCrae has helped start a chapter of the National Association for Black Journalists. She also hears from students and other faculty of color about the need for more minority representation at the university and an understanding of the struggles Black students and faculty may face.
I guess my experience speaks more to talking to African American students who are in the College of Communication or journalism majors, of just that sense of isolation and feeling that there's not enough connection amongst the student body, but certainly not enough recognition from faculty and administrators.
Daryl Arrington, an assistant vice president of student affairs at DePaul, and also oversees the Office of Multicultural Student Success. He's been with the university for 33 years and says DePaul does have systems in place to help students in these situations.
We have several programs that we have created just for Black students. And we had a successful fall calendar that was specifically developed to welcome Black students and to welcome back the students that are already here. What we're trying to do pretty much is develop more of a community and more awareness of other people here, because all of our students are across the campuses.
DePaul also offers affinity spaces for students of color, including its Black Cultural Center, Asian Pacific Islander and Desi American Center, and Latinx Cultural Center. In addition, the university has an Office of Academic Continuity and Engagement and the Office of Multicultural Student Success to help students of color receive resources tailored to their needs. One of these resources is the Men of Color Learning Community, which was created to increase access and success for men of color at DePaul, according to a university representative. But some students of color say this isn't enough.
Because I feel like DePaul just says like, oh, we have spaces like this, like the one I'm sitting in right now, but then it's on us to actually create that space for ourselves, and then DePaul just doesn't care after it.
With DePaul being in the city, a lot of students commute, which makes it even harder for students of color to create community.
Because I based my decision on like how much diversity was here based upon like, you know, the percentage that they give on like the brochure, which is like that percentage may be true, but I feel like some transparency would be nice in saying like, this is how many people are actually like live on campus, this is how many people stay off campus.
Even though some students and faculty of color do feel like diversity is something they would like to improve, some say it doesn't necessarily have to be a deal breaker for future students.
If they really do want an already established Black community and group, I wouldn't recommend DePaul just because I feel like DePaul has a lot of growing to do. But I definitely feel like if they're a student that wants to have like a leadership role or take part in creating that Black community, that would be a good choice for them.
As for the lack of diversity in faculty, McCrae hopes that more applicants of color apply in the future.
Yeah, I don't think, in my experience, I don't think DePaul is outwardly racist or discriminatory. I think it just hasn't reached out enough beyond its comfort zone. So I think if more African Americans come towards DePaul and talk or ask or whatever, I think that would be, that would help build a pool. But I think more of us kind of knocking down the doors, kind of like what I did, certainly increases the chances of people being hired.
For Good Day DePaul, I'm Ariana Allen.
A man has been charged with breaking into and then stealing money from the St. Vincent de Paul Church near DePaul's Lincoln Park campus. 27-year-old Hannibal Carey is accused of the crime that took place the day after Christmas. Church officials say as much as $10,000 may have been taken, money that came in large part from the Christmas Day collections.
The teachers' strike has ended at UIC, the University of Illinois, Chicago. The 4-day strike led to a shutdown of classes. The two sides reached a tentative agreement after the university increased teachers' pay. Classes resumed on Monday, January 23rd. Next on Good Day DePaul, a big win for the DePaul men's basketball team.
And esports. They continue to flourish at DePaul. Those stories and more when Good Day DePaul returns.
2004 Skateboard Championship.
High school, moped.
What about you, Slim? Anything?
Something.
Looks like Slim's got a little paper cut.
It's nothing.
Come on, man. No, I'm gonna make you tell me.
Hey, kidney transplant.
When, dude? I didn't know you were sick.
I was donating it.
Someone in your family?
You gave your kidney to a complete stranger?
Yeah, saved his life.
Wow. All right.
Everyone can save a life by being a living organ donor on matchingdonors.com.
The DePaul men's basketball team beat 8th-ranked Xavier, but then lost 2 in a row to Providence and Georgetown. The Blue Demons are now 3-7 in Big East play.
The women's basketball team lost 3 in a row, falling to Georgetown, St. John's, and Connecticut. They're now 4-6 in the Big East play.
He's known simply as Dibs, DePaul's mascot and a familiar figure at basketball games. He is also one of the most beloved figures at DePaul. Recently, I spent some time with Dibs and saw firsthand his unique appeal to DePaul students.
Here at DePaul, there's a demon who brings joy to many students. Now, this isn't a fairy tale or superstition. I'm talking about Demon in a Blue Suit, or Dibs for short, DePaul University's mascot.
Students embrace Dibs as a central part of university culture.
Dibs? I love Dibs.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
He's super fun.
I'm a personal Dibs biggest fan. I think he's a great mascot. I think it's really unique and just kind of funny.
We love Dibs!
Dibs is known as the spirit of DePaul in its athletic program. He appears at all types of campus and sporting events.
Even though you may see him cheering on athletes from the sidelines, Dibs has been racking up career stats of his own. According to DePaul Athletics, Dibs has a record of 4,539.6 high fives, 18.7 Jumbotron appearances, and 6.4 opponent diversions per game. Dibs enhances the DePaul experience. No one knows that better than Thea Chatlin, a member of Dibs' crew. She accompanies him at basketball games and other university events.
It doesn't feel like work. It feels like they're just having a great time.
Chatlin's favorite part about working with Dibs is simply being around him.
I love Dibs. I love it so much. I love him.
Dibs loves being around the DePaul community. He says the fans are his favorite part of being a mascot, and those fans love him right back. Cherie Griffin is a freshman at DePaul. She thinks that Dibs adds something special to the university community.
I think Dibs just adds like life and like happiness. I feel like whenever people see him, it just like hypes everybody up and makes everybody really happy. So it gets them in like the spirit of like DePaul.
Junior Daniel Sakalaris can't imagine DePaul without Dibs.
Like if we didn't have him, you know, I don't know what we would be like. I think he has a really large impact. It's really positive.
Dibs is a local celebrity at DePaul. No matter what event he's at, fans are always eager to meet him and take photos. If you're waiting for your opportunity to meet Dibs, you likely won't have to wait long. Alan Gordon, a freshman at DePaul, has already seen Dibs several times across campus, including at the career fair.
I think that he's like a very involved mascot, which is really nice. Like you see him around all the time, which is kind of fun. Yeah, I think he has a lot to the campus. I think he's a good mascot.
Unlike most demons, Dibs is a symbol of cheer and goodwill. From his dance moves to his selfies, he's a pinnacle of school spirit, energy, and fun here at DePaul. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Lily Lowndes.
Esports. They're continuing to grow in popularity at DePaul. I talked with some of the key players on the esports community here and learned about some of their plans for the future. The DePaul Esports Gaming Center has been the central hub for all competitive and casual games here at DePaul since it was first opened in 2018. And now, the Gaming Center has announced their new weekly event aimed at more casual and social gamers.
So currently, for the next quarter, every single Friday, the Gaming Lounge will be reserved for a different team. And every single Friday, it'll be a different event.
The Esports Lounge has released their schedule for each weekly competition on their social channels, and they hope that with these events being open to anyone, that more people will be interested and less intimidated to join in the friendly competition.
I want more people to join this community so it doesn't become so closed off and like fenced off to, like I said, like professionals only and just our team. We don't want our team to be like a closed community. We want it to be open to everybody.
They are a way for people to get a taste of what esports is like, our competitive environment, while also keeping the fun, casual, friendly banter and friendliness between people alive. I see it as a great way for people who aren't part of our program, our club, or our teams to really not only get to know us, the teammates, and the board members, but also to maybe consider joining one of these teams in the next year when tryouts come around again.
More casual environments like this seem to be a positive for those in the community, allowing them to interact in a way that supports healthy competition.
We're helping out the community, kind of bringing everyone together, as well as making for everyone to make new friends within this tournament.
It's just a chance for anybody who thinks they can have any sort of enjoyment out of the game to come down, try out the game, test their skills, and meet new people.
While these tournaments are more casual, the highly competitive events are still a big part of the e-gaming community.
The one event that I could think of is the Slam Dunk event.
So Slam Dunk is a bigger event that we started last year, and the one that we're holding in January will be our third one. Slam Dunk is basically just a bigger version of our events. We have like 96 people coming to play Ultimate and like 42 coming to play Melee. It's really just a bigger event. It's PR eligible for PR players, which means like some of the best people in Chicago are going to come out.
PR standing for Power Ranking, a ranking given to more professional Smash Brothers players. The e-gaming lounge will be hosting these competitions every Friday from 5 to 7 p.m. and you can keep up with the latest news on their Discord channel or tune into their competitions live on Twitch. From Good Day DePaul, I'm Tavi Papazian.
Yes, we're in the middle of winter, but believe it or not, the softball season at DePaul will soon be starting. And get this, Big East coaches are listing DePaul as the preseason conference favorite. The Blue Demons will open their season next week, playing indoors in Rosemont at the DePaul Dome tournament.
Coming up on Good Day DePaul, the city of Chicago celebrates DePaul's 125th anniversary. That story when we return.
I think we should split. Split up? Why? I want to meet new people. People who need me. Meet new people? You're my left kidney. You only need one of me, man. And you have two. There are plenty of people out there who are dying because they don't have one. Really? You'll be giving the gift of life. I could be a hero. Yeah. It's all win-win up here, buddy. Why don't you go and save a life, pal? You're doing the right thing.
As many of you know, DePaul is celebrating its 125th anniversary this year. And to honor that, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot and the City Council proclaimed January 25th DePaul Day in Chicago. During the entire week, there were various celebrations on campus and throughout the city. These include illuminating the city skyline with DePaul's blue and red colors. And on January 27th, the university joined with the Chicago Park District in providing ice skating sessions for DePaul students at the Maggie Daly Ice Skating Ribbon at Millennium Park.
That's all for this week's edition of Good Day DePaul. You can keep up with us by visiting our Vimeo channel at Good Day DePaul or by going to goodday.depaul.edu.
And make sure to check us out on Facebook.
And if you have any news tips, message us through the Good Day DePaul social media channels.
Thanks for watching. I'm Tavi Papazian.
And I'm Lily Lowndes. Have a good day, DePaul.